Kabul was originally designed to support a population of about 500,000 people. Today, that number sits somewhere between 5 and 7 million. The United Nations estimates 80% of the city's residents now live in unplanned, informal settlements. Without regulated grid infrastructure, these hillside zones are intensely vulnerable to natural disasters. A flash flood or moderate earthquake can instantly erase entire housing blocks. This unregulated expansion followed decades of continuous warfare and mass internal migration. Displaced families built whatever they could wherever they could find space, completely bypassing the city's official master plans. Kabul currently operates within a structural vacuum where the sheer mathematics of human survival have outpaced civic infrastructure. In conflict studies, negative peace describes the condition where military forces successfully separate combatants. The active shooting stops, but underlying societal tensions remain unresolved. In the immediate aftermath of an emergency, international media attention is high, and relief money floods in to provide temporary shelter. But once the cameras move on and the military leaves, that initial burst of aid often fails to establish a functioning society. This chart breaks down the timeline for establishing positive peace, the stage where a city achieves harmonious cooperation, formal property rights, and long-term infrastructure. Reaching that state requires a coordinated 25-year process. For a city of 5 million, transitioning from negative to positive peace is impossible if 80% of the population lacks the shared physical spaces required to exist as a community. To find a framework for rebuilding that community, urban planners are looking to the 16th century Babunama, the memoirs of the founder of the Mughal Empire. The gardens detailed in this text function as dynamic ecosystems, engineered to foster local biodiversity and manage regional water systems. Today, an international initiative called the Architecture of Peace is using these historical spaces as blueprints to reconstruct fractured cities. This document outlines the factors the framework demands for a successful intervention, prioritizing trust, publicness, ownership, and local employment. Planners are applying these exact factors to the restoration of Kabul's historic gardens. The goal is to use physical reconstruction to solve modern social crises, rather than just ecological ones. Returning to this proto-environmental heritage is a calculated strategy to engineer social trust and draw a divided population back into the public square. Between 2002 and 2008, the Bagh-e-Babur site rehabilitation put this into practice. The project prioritized local employment, hiring residents to rebuild the complex system of water canals that channel rainfall from the surrounding mountains. Following the 2002 intervention, the site reopened as an active, formal public space for recreation and cultural events. A few years later, the Chihilsatun Garden Project expanded on this approach. The architects refused to treat the 12.5-hectare site as a frozen, untouchable monument. Instead, they added over 10,000 square meters of modernized rammed earth buildings, including administrative spaces and an auditorium, along with neighborhood improvements intended to support local livelihoods. By embedding permanent administrative offices and neighborhood-scale jobs directly within the garden grounds, these projects created a self-policing civic hub. Safety in these spaces is the byproduct of high-density use and a shared economic stake in the garden's maintenance. When you formalize an unregulated space, you grant the surrounding community a degree of official ownership and collective security. The defining philosophy behind these projects is that true restoration must be guided by stewardship for the living rather than nostalgia for the past. This strategy is vital for the millions of Kabul residents still living in precarious, unplanned environments as global climate threats continue to mount. Durable peace is a physical construct. It relies on a deliberate infrastructure of design that is built and shared in the open air.